Everyone, great to see many of you over here. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. I started to do like a little bit of it in the chat about assignments and everything. So there's been two assignments so far. I'm gonna share with you those like the details more. So both of them they have been emailed and stuff. If you have not, please do reach out at hello@gdglondon.dev. Let me just enter that in the chat as well. So the parts that they were assigned, if you have completed the full part from before, please do let us know over there and we can assign a different one. For the ones that asked about credit, so I'm just going to give a little bit of the details behind. So it is a credit sharing groups, as they say it in Cloud Skills Boost, but that does not entitles you to a credit, but entitles you to a free access to the parts that are assigned. So what this means is that you will still see on your profile that you will have, for example, 0 credits. However, if you are to complete a lab or anything like that that's part of the path, then you won't get charged for that and you will have a free access to it. For the ones that ask how do they get all those kind of details, I'll share it again at the end of this session, the form and everything. And yeah, we'll go through that again together. So before we started with the session, I'm just going to share my screen and just go through the same bits again from before. Great to see that some challenges were a good one as well from Cloud Skills Boost. If you have encountered any challenges for any labs, for example, the lab is not completed or anything like that, you can contact Cloud Skills Boost support or Quick Labs. There's an option with a little bit of like a question mark on the top right. And you can do a chat with support and they'll be able to help and all those details. Recently, I was completing something else and my lab was not getting 100%. And when I reached out to them, it turns out that there has been some bug and that they're working on that. So awesome. Officially, welcoming you everyone again for today's session. So we are currently at session 3 from the mini AI Dev Camp. Focused on GenAI. This one started on December 5th, which we had the first session. So December 5th, 7th of December. Today is the third one, and we have one more scheduled as well. On the details behind, the host throughout the whole mini dev camp, it's myself, Sumit, and Renuka. Sumit and Renuka, currently, they're not going to be. So for the ones, for example, that attended the Saturday session, I was not there. There won't be today, so I will be solely hosting and leading this workshop or this session, as we wanted to say. Wanted to again emphasize about the code of conduct. So this applies to all participants, regardless of hosts, presenters, attendees, everyone. So just wanted to emphasize on that part as well. We are at the session 3 or week 2, session 1 today, which is December 12th. Started just a couple of minutes ago. And so we have one more session, which is the last session. In order to attend that one, if anyone would like to get on that one, for the ones that are looking to get a certificate, we have outlined that a little at the first session. So we would expect everyone to be attending all the sessions and also completing the parts or the assignments that were assigned after every session. Deadline of the assignments, it's different per assignment, usually 7 days after the event, except for the first one, we gave it 24 hours extra just because we wanted to get everyone the quick Cloud Skills Boost access. So that's why, because it was done on Friday, we decided to do a 24 hours extra for everyone. Anyone wondering why is the QR code on the screen? Just because if you would like to, go through your mobile, for example, or anything like that to register. but I will post it in the chat as well regarding on that one. Um, for questions about the previous recorded sessions, if you go to gdg.community.dev over there and go to GDG London, you will see in the past sessions, all recordings from the past sessions are embedded right now onto the recording, onto the event page. So this will be as well, after the session, it will be processed and we will then embed it over there with the details of the recording as well. Right, awesome. Session 4 is the next one where we at, right, on those kind of parts. Currently, session 3. So, shortly, or I should say probably just now, I will introduce who will be the today's, I would say, person of the hour, person of the 2 hours, or the person that will do the presentation. So that's Lisa. Lisa is a lead AI and data instructor at Digital Futures. I've noticed Lisa, she is on the call, which probably was earlier than me joined. So Lisa, I'm just going to promote you. Oh, hello. I'll promote you to a presenter mode, so you will pop up on the screen, and we can also have like a little chat if you would like before you start.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here.
Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. How is everything?
Everything is great, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's a little bit the weather. I was planning to go out a little bit later, but looks like it might be just stay at home in the evening, which is not bad as well. Awesome. So I won't go too much into introducing you. Probably the people like that are already here probably know you, well known, you know. But I will let you introduce and I will let you share your screen perhaps on that. So I won't take up your time. Feel free to start sharing your screen and we can kick off the session.
Amazing, everyone. So, thank you so much for having me here. So delighted to get this opportunity to speak with you about Vertex AI. And I've got a little demo that we're going to be creating from scratch today. So, you can see how you can use Vertex AI to build something pretty cool pretty quickly. So, let's take a look. So, as Goran said, my name is Lisa. I work at a startup called Digital Futures. We're a London based startup that really believes that everyone should have access to technology careers, regardless of their background. And at this amazing company, I get to teach data and AI all day, every day. It is so much fun. And I'm so pleased to be able to share some of this with all of you today. I've seen what you've all been working on so far, and it's absolutely fantastic. So impressed with the AI Dev Camp 2024 that you've all been part of. Amazing work, and do keep it all up. So, what are we going to talk about today? I am going to be taking you through Vertex AI. What is it? How can you use it? Why should you care about it? And then we're actually going to build an image question answering tool live from scratch in this session. So the idea with this is, bear with me here, roasting your roast dinner. So if you've heard of a roast, it's when you're kind of sassy and critical about something. And we're going to use generative AI to roast some roast dinners. I might need some help from all of you to find pictures of roast dinners to go ahead and critique. So I'll get you sharing some of those in chat soon. But we're going to build a tool and we're going to use Streamlit to do that, as well as Vertex AI. And we're going to be able to share an image, and our sassy little bot is going to go ahead and use that generative AI to critique the quality of that Christmas or roast dinner. So I hope you're excited to build your roast the roast. And then we'll talk a little bit about next steps. I know that through this amazing dev camp, you've been given access to some skills boost through the cloud skills boost, which is such a great way to learn. So we'll have a talk about some of those next steps and how you can get building and working with things like Vertex AI. Okie dokie. So Vertex AI is Google's machine learning and AI platform. So it's part of the Google Cloud Platform, also known as GCP. And it really is a place that brings together all of the different capabilities that Google Cloud provides. And it really is that one-stop shop to get everything done. There's really three main parts alongside everything else. Vertex AI really is really action-packed and feature-filled. The traditional thing you could always do on Vertex AI was training and deploying machine learning models. So Vertex AI was traditionally the workbench where you could create and then deploy traditional machine learning models. It more recently got updated to include customizing and building with large language models. Vertex AI really is the enterprise solution for building at scale and with robustness. So if you're looking at building a platform, maybe inside a job or for many, many people to use, Vertex AI is the platform to do that. One of the great things about Vertex is it really allows you to manage your projects and your workflows. So you're not just creating a model in isolation, it's got pipelines, it's got testing, every single kind of element of that project lifecycle is there when you're building with Vertex. With Vertex, it's really bringing together all of these different kind of areas, different disciplines. So you've got your traditional data science. So this is building your workflows, building your models, testing the robustness, really making sure you've got great models. You can also serve your models in this as well. So that's the machine learning workflow engineering part. We've got generative AI built into Vertex now, both creating and working with models and also helping you. It's also the data engineering component as well. That's one of the great things about Vertex. So if you aren't a data engineer and you're not sure about how to get started, Vertex actually makes some of those elements super, super easy and really great for you. Amazing. So, as I said, Vertex is really a one-stop shop. No matter what you want to build, Vertex AI is a great place to do it. I will say, Vertex AI is the corporate enterprise tool. So, it's not really the tool that you want to use if you're just playing around. Gemini and Google AI Studio, which I believe you're doing a session on the next one, that's a little bit better as a playground and when you're prototyping or building little things. But if you're doing things at scale, then Vertex is a really great place for that. So, there's a few things I want to call to your attention before we take a look at Vertex together. The first is that you can really play around in Vertex AI to get the prompt and the output you want. Vertex will then give you the code. So you don't actually need to do all of the coding yourself. Vertex is going to help you with generating the code. So you can generate in Vertex and then take that and put that within your product. So it really does provide that place, allowing you to explore and create. And more recently, there's hundreds of prompts and so much assistance for building with AI. So, probably no matter what you want to build, there's going to be a template that can help you. Amazing. So, let's take a look at Vertex AI. So, welcome to Vertex. As I said, it is so feature filled. There is so much that you can do. We have Model Garden, and this is your more traditional place where you'll find the different models. We have loads of different models available. Traditionally, this was things more like speech to text, text to speech, and the more task driven non large language models. More recently, your large language models have absolutely taken over. So in Model Garden, you'll find not just Gemini and the Google models, but some from other providers such as Hugging Face as well. So if you're looking to get started in so many of the different tasks across machine learning and generative AI, Model Garden is a absolutely fantastic place to come because you can absolutely get hands-on with all of these different models. Oops. Going back to our dashboard. I have collapsing menus on, which probably isn't helping right now. As I said, you can also build your pipelines, which is absolutely fantastic. I don't have any right now, but a pipeline is where you're going to be able to have data coming in from a source, running it through the different models, and then having the outputs. So really, really great if you want to schedule and have your data running through your models. There are notebooks, so you can use Google Colab in Vertex AI. This is if you really want to get hands-on and build with more traditional machine learning. But let's come to the fun bit. Vertex AI Studio, this is the bit that we are all here for. So this is actually relatively new from Vertex and it is so much fun. I will say that when you are learning, they have put in tutorials, documentation throughout. So it's actually very, very easy to get started. We can see they have lots of different areas and elements as well. The one we're going to look at today is the freeform one. So this is basically a little playground where we can start to build up a model that does what we would like. And we've got an example that we're going to look at today, which, as I said, is roasting some roast dinner. So we can go ahead and start to let this model help us along and build what we want. So let's take a look. First of all, we've got our system instructions. This is where we essentially tell the model what it is and its role in the world. So I might say, you are a sassy, critical, professional roaster. You will be given roast dinners. I might say roast dinner photos, and you will roast that dinner. You'll give funny and witty retorts commenting on the quality of the roast dinner. We might want to extend that as a prompt, but for now, that is the one that we are going to go with. I don't know if anyone has or can really quickly use Google Images and grab me a picture of a roast dinner that I can go ahead and critique, but I'm going to need one and I don't have one prepared. But let's do this. Let's test it. So roast this dinner. I'm going to quickly grab an image to roast. If you have an image you want me to roast as well, then let me know. But let's quickly get this tested. So I'm just grabbing a picture of a roast dinner. There's some great pictures of roast dinners that I found on the internet. Let's quickly grab this one. Fantastic. Oh, brilliant. You're putting some in chat as well. Love that. Let's see if I can use this one from chat. Nice one, team. Thank you for the roast dinner help here. There we go. Fantastic. Oh, that does look like a good roast dinner. So we should be able to bring this over, insert our media from URL. Let me grab your URL again. There we go. So from URL, let's give it this beautiful picture of a roast dinner. I think it wants the HTTPS. There we go. It's an image. It's an image insert. There we go. We've got that roast dinner. So we've got a couple of settings that we can play with as well. So the first is our model. There's so many different models right now. We're going to stick with Flash. It's a really great kind of compromise. It's very fast and very efficient. Not quite as good as Pro in terms of some of its responses, but they are still top tier responses. So it's a great model. At the moment, it's really cost efficient as well. Region, that can just stay the same. We do have the temperature. Temperature is a really fun one. So when our temperature is set to 0, this is essentially going to be a lot more predictable. When you use a large language model, it has loads of different possible outputs it can share with you. When your temperature is set to something lower like 0, that is going to use the highest probability response, kind of the most boring response. So if you want a really predictable outcome, you want a lower temperature. The higher the temperature, the more creative our model is going to be. I'm going to go wild and set my temperature to 2, which means it's going to be really creative with its outputs. We're not going to use grounding at the moment, but grounding is so fantastic. It's a way of making sure the model is factual. So if you're making a more fact-based system, you might want to use grounding, which is where it's essentially going to do a little bit of fact checking, which is really cool. When we're building, we might want things to come back either in plain text or in JSON. We're going to go with plain text right now. The other thing is safety settings. We might want to block different types of content. I definitely don't want dangerous content or anything else at the moment. If you are making something that's public facing, this bit's quite important. You don't want to have potentially negative stuff coming out in a public facing things. So do have a look at the safety filter settings. So shall we see what it has to say about our roast dinner? Let's have a look. It's taking a few seconds. And here we go. We have our sassy response. It's saying it's almost too perfect. That is a really great looking roast. So it's done a great job there. Let's have a look at one of the other ones we have. Let's go ahead and delete that one, insert media, and then by URL. Cool. I'm just going to pop in the HTTPS to make it work. There we go. Oh no, Alexander, you found a particularly dreary looking roast. I hope it wasn't one you made yourself. Apologies if it was. Let's see what our large language model thinks of it. Oh, this one's taking a couple of seconds. Oh dear, honey, that's not a roast dinner, that's a hostage situation. That poor pale piece of meat looks like it surrendered without a fight. And those potatoes. Oh dear. It seems like our model is doing a really great job of critiquing there. Let's have a look at that one. Yes, I think that was quite an accurate an accurate description of this. So I'm actually pretty happy with our so good to know, Alexander. Yeah, I'm actually really happy. I thought I might need to give the system instructions a bit more detail. But yeah, these are really great responses already. If I wanted to, I could give it more direction. I could tell it to make sure to look for the gravy, the meat, the veg, all of the different things. I could really give it instructions on what to look for. But I'm pretty happy with how it is working at the moment. Our problem, though, is that we are currently working in the playground, which means no one else will be able to take a look. I will say we do have evaluate options within Vertex AI, which is so powerful. So um, yeah, it's so valuable to be able to evaluate how well your models are performing. If we were making this for a production system, we would probably get some humans in the loop. We would show them maybe 10 different inputs and outputs and get them to critique it. This type of evaluation and a few other metrics are all things you can do within the Vertex platform. There's also a lot of tuning that can be done. But one of my favorite features is the get code button. This goes ahead and generates the code for you. It's currently prompted in user input. Rainy, I'm not sure I understand the question. If you could elaborate, I'm sure I can help. But yeah, we're going to be given the code, and we can then take this and use it wherever we would like. We would need to make a couple of changes in order to get it to work, but it's going to be all good. One of the key things is how to authenticate. So, like I said, Vertex AI is one of the more corporate enterprise versions. So, you do need a fully set up billing project. That project needs to have your service accounts set up. So, that's really, really important. I think that's something that's covered in the skills boosts that you've all been doing. So, that is great. You do need service accounts set up, and you do need authentication set up properly. So that's something to look out for. Some stuff will work in the Vertex environment, but when you move it outside, if you haven't set things up properly, it won't quite work. Fantastic. Oh, yes, of course. I guess there is a little bit of duplication because we're saying roast this dinner. I think we can just remove that. I think that I'm not sure actually. I think we still do need to remind it what it's doing. So even though we're duplicating what's going on, I think we do need to remind it that it's meant to be roasting the picture that we are giving. I think if you just give it an image, it won't be so happy. Fantastic. So let's have a look at how we can go ahead. I think if I just put in like an exclamation mark, I think it might still roast it. Yeah, there we go. So it is just using those system introductions. I think when you send the prompt, it always looks for a bill of text to be there. I don't think it likes just receiving an image. Amazing. I'm loving some of these responses that it's giving. It's definitely quite sassy. So what we can do, we can take this code and we can go ahead and start building with it. So I want to make an interface where the user can add an image and have their dinner roasted. And we're going to be using Streamlit for this. So if you've never heard of Streamlit, Streamlit is a front end that allows you to make really cool front ends using Python. So you don't need to learn another language. We can just do it straight in Python, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm here on share.streamlit.io. So this is the community cloud version of Streamlit. So it's completely free. Anyone can use it. And yeah, you can just make hosted apps, which is really cool. So I'm going to click that I want to create an app. I'm going to say from a template, because I don't have it on GitHub yet. I don't want to do it in Snowflake. So from a template, but I'm going to pick an empty blank template. I will say that Streamlit does have some incredible chatbot capabilities. So if you're looking to build a chatbot, Streamlit is a great place to do it from because it's kind of got that whole kind of user input, bot response, user input kind of interface going on. So that's kind of cool. But we're going to do a blank app today. I am going to call it the Roast Roaster. And again, you get to pick a URL. So mine is hopefully going to be roast roaster, like so. And I am going to use the GitHub code spaces to immediately edit this in my browser. So I'm going to go ahead and click deploy. And this is going to do a couple of things. I'm connected to my GitHub, so it's going to make a GitHub repository for me, which is super cool. It's also going to make a workspace where we can actually use our code and make this happen, which is so fantastic. So that's just setting up my code space. And hopefully in half an hour or so, we should have a website that you can all connect to where you can roast your roast. So I'm really excited. Let's see if we can get this built. Just waiting for this to load right now. It's all good fun. do all collect some pictures of some roast dinners that you can use to roast just while it is all going ahead and loading. It's not normally this slow. I think it's um, I think it's because we're doing this live, so obviously it's choosing to take its time, and be a little bit slow. GitHub credentials are already stored in Streamlit. Yes, when you sign up for Streamlit, you can connect your GitHub account. You set up a key to allow it to work with your GitHub. So once you do that, everything is great. This really is taking a while to set up the space. Yes. Fantastic. Just while it's doing this, we can take a look at some of the other things. Oh, that's the wrong one. We can take a look at some of the other things that we have here in Vertex. So like we said before, if you yep, I will continue without saving. If you are looking at doing more of a chatbot, so that's going to have a response and an answer. Again, you can test it out, kind of build it here, and then go ahead and grab the code. Really similar code. I think that's actually the wrong code because that is just doing, oh no, that is the right code. So it's the multi-turn generate content. So it's also using this chat model.start chat down here. So if you want to try building a chatbot, absolutely something you can do. And you can see there's so many different model types and things that you can get started with. So if you're looking to build something that can generate images, something that's going to be able to translate, something that is going to be able to do text to speech, you can do all of that within Vertex AI itself. Fantastic. We can see that our Streamlit is now running and we can hopefully get building. First thing I'm actually going to do is hopefully click this link here and it should hopefully load into our platform. Here we go. So on this screen, I'm actually going to be able to get a live preview of what I am building. So when I make a code change over here, like so, let's roast some roasts. Always rerun. You can see it's changing over here. So just using some beautiful pure Python, we're going to go ahead and be able to make something pretty cool. Okie dokie. So let's get started. We can give the users a little prompt, share your image of a roast dinner, and I'll let you know how awful it is. Fantastic. Let's check. All is good. Yeah, there we go. Rerun. It is all working. Fantastic. So now I've hopefully still copied that text. Yes. So this was my code that Gemini had created for me. So I'm going to be able to work with this to do what I need to do. The first thing you'll notice is it's telling me that Vertex AI isn't found. That is no problem. I just need to come over to my terminal and pip install. So it's going to be pip install Vertex AI. And that's just going to go ahead and download everything it needs. I'm also going to install another library alongside this. I don't have the key set up quite at the moment. Like I said, you need those service accounts set up. So I'm going to actually access the model in a slightly different way today. So I'm also going to pip install Google.generative AI. There we go. So that's installing all of the packages and things that we need to work with generative AI in Python, which is super, super fun. But we're not really going to make too many changes to the code today, which is super cool. So I'm going to go ahead and import Google Generative AI. You'll see that it's exceptionally similar, just a slightly different way of accessing it, which is really, really cool. So we have this this generate, which I'm going to need to update. But let's have a look at how we get in the image. So we want the user to input an image. So let's sort out that bit first. So we're going to say my file. And this is going to be equal to st.file loader, file uploader. So the way that Streamlit works, and let me make my screen a wee bit bigger here, just in case you can't see it too good. The way that it works is that we've got lots of different methods. So st is our library name, short for Streamlit. And we call the different methods. So we're going to say file uploader, like so. We give it a label. So choose your roast dinner. And then we get to tell it what sort of file type it is going to be. So this is going to be type equals, and I am going to restrict it to JPEGs today. Ideally, we would ideally we would make it accept more, but just for today, we're only going to do JPEGs and accept multiple files equals false. Nice. So this is the part that's actually going to go ahead and allow the user to pick what they want. Let me make that smaller. There we go. So I think I've got some code that, oh no, it should work. Let's take a look at the page at the moment. Nice. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit of a default credentials not found. So as I said, you do need to set up ADC, application default credentials, to get this working with the Vertex code as is. I don't have that right now, so I do need to make some tweaks, but that is no problem. But as you can see, our drag and open the file thing is now here and is now working. So that bit is fantastic. We just need to make a couple of tweaks to get it to work. So I'm actually just going to remove the code I don't really need. I'm going to be consistent and move my imports to the top. I think this is going to be very messy code that we're going to have coming in over here. But that is all okay. So I am just going to quickly make sure that I've got the right code. I can get rid of most of this. Again, you can set up authentication, so you won't quite need to change everything you are doing. I've got this code I wrote before, so we'll just quickly grab that. So a slightly different way of working with files. This is a little function that is going to go ahead and grab a file and share it with the Gen AI. So it's going to be able to access it, which is really, really useful. Image one, blah, blah, blah. I can get rid of this. That was our example image, which we don't need anymore. So you can see we've got here our description. So if you want to, you'd be able to, don't run that, oops. If you want to, you'll be able to update and change all of that we did before. Let's see what we have. We have our generate config, which I think is the same. So we have our instructions. We have all of our safety settings, which is really, really great. What we need to do now is just quickly change the way we're going to do our model. So need to do this in the right place. We are going to say model equals GenAI dot generative model. The model name we're going to be using today is let's see, is Gemini 2.0 Flash EXP. You can see we've got our generation config, which is great. So we can say generation config equals, weirdly enough, generation config. And then our system instructions is, what was it called? This one up here. Fantastic. So this is the part that is actually going to do the model. So the way it works is you kind of go ahead and make a blank model, and then you send instructions and get responses from it. The safety settings, I'm just going to ignore for now. I wouldn't recommend this, but I'm just going to go ahead and delete our safety settings. No one saw that. Pretend they're still there. Pretend that we're still all safe and being good. Okay, cool. So this is the part that's actually going to be able to call the model and make everything work. There's our config. There's our setup. And this is the part that's going to be able to upload a file. And here is where we are connecting. I need to put my secrets in, and I need to do that secretly from all of you so that you can't see my secrets, but I will need to give it a Gemini API key. So I'll do that off screen in a second. The final thing we need to do is, now that we're getting our file in here, is when someone selects a file, we then want to send to the GenAI. It's really that simple. So we say if my file is not none, like so, and now we can actually get it to do the thing, which is super cool. So I can say my Gemini file is going to be upload to Gemini. So that's that little function you saw before. And that's essentially going to make that file available. I do need to give it the MIME type. So this is going to be JPEG like so. But now I can get the response. So it's going to be response equals model dot generate content. There we go. And now we give it a list. So we're going to give it the image, and we're going to give it the thing we want it to critique. So Gemini file, that's going to be that image, and then roast this roast. That's that reminder and that prompt. That's going to get it to generate a response. We can do st.write, and we can write that response back to the screen. And I also want it to do, I guess, st.image of my file, so that we can see the roast that has just been roasted. But other than my key and probably debugging all of the bugs, this is basically it. So you can see that, other than the fact I needed to change the model because of the authentication issue, really, this is just the code that Vertex generated for us. All I've had to do is add in the file uploader and then write a little bit of code to deal with the issue. I'm just going to quickly move this to the other screen and quickly set up. So I'll leave you to enjoy my little city right here, just while I quickly give my secret API key. Obviously, API keys are meant to be kept secret, so I don't want to reveal all of my beautiful API keys to you guys. So I'm just quickly grabbing an API key. There are some really great things with Google AI Studio and Vertex AI at the moment. So if you do want to get started, there are free quotas that you can use up. Flash is currently free. There are so many different options for free to really get started with all of this stuff. So I just need to really quickly create my secrets .toml. So I need to make a new folder called .streamlit. Nice. And I need to make a new file called streamlit secrets.toml. Brilliant. So off screen, I'm just adding my key to a secrets file. Of course, it is secret, so I'm not sharing it with all of you. And let's see if that has worked. Nice, the error message has gone away. So now we can find out if my code has worked. Let's have a look. We're going to go to Browse Files. I'm not sure if I have any I don't think I have roast dinners available at the moment. I've only got random images. So let me quickly grab one of your delicious roast dinners from earlier, just so I can use that one. Amazing. Ooh, this session is really definitely making me hungry because there are some fabulous looking roast dinners coming up. Amazing. So let's take a look. Browse files. Hopefully, there we go. I now have a roast dinner. So that's going to quickly upload it both to my Streamlit and to Gemini. You can see it's running up in this corner. I think we're going to get an error message, but let's find out. Oh, we're actually so close. You can see it's giving me back the response. So we're so close to having a working thing here. And you can see this text is coming through and it does seem to be working. And we do have an image down here. Okay, so I did make a mistake, but it is a fixable mistake, which is good. So let's bring back our code. Where is our code gone? Here we go. Let's bring back our code. Issue is with this response. We're bringing back the entire response. We, in fact, only want response dot text like so. So this should hopefully now already have updated, and there we go. We can see that we are in fact now getting our full response back. Way. It's quite a long response actually. I think it's a little bit too wordy, but it is in fact roasting our roast dinner. And I think we only took, what, 20 minutes to do that, if that. So hopefully you can see that using Vertex is so simple. Final thing to do is actually just publish this so that it's available to all of you to use. We can do that really easily in Streamlit and Community Cloud. I can just come to our source control. I can click commit. I do want to do my stages. Of course, I'm going to write a beautiful commit message, such as beautiful commit message, with a smiley face to show that we are smiley people. Hit tick, and in theory, if I now sync my changes and push and pull, it should go ahead and put that into the GitHub space and the Streamlit space. If I go back to my, if I go back to share, ask Chrome to stop trying to make my world better. Where is my roaster? Here we go. I should now, in theory, be able to visit it. It's going to tell me that it doesn't have my secrets, which is fine. So let me just really quickly bring this back to my secret screen. And I'm just going to give it my secrets. So I did give it the secrets in the code space, but not for the public app. So I just really quickly need to change the settings and add in the secrets. So it is... There we go. Nice. I have, in fact, also made one other mistake as well. So this one is a good one to show you. So we're getting a module not found error when we're trying to view that published app. And that all comes down to the requirements. So I manually pip installed while I needed in this virtual code space, but I didn't actually add it to the requirements file. So that was a little silly of me. I do need to add it to requirements. And what this is going to do is when the cloud-hosted Streamlit kind of launches itself, it's going to make sure it pip installs the Google generative AI piece. So if I come ahead and go over to source control, again, I'm going to commit, I'm going to stage my changes. I'm also going to be putting beautiful commit in. And yes, if I was using the Vertex AI code at the moment, I would also need to add that in as well. So whichever packages you're using, you just need to quickly add those in. That should have committed, I believe. So if I come back to my roast the roaster and ask it to rerun, here we go. We can see my roast the roaster is now live. Let's give it a test. Let's select that lovely roast dinner and see what it has to say. It's not the fastest in the world, but here we go. It seems quite happy. It is roasting away. Amazing. There's obviously so many changes I could make. I could tweak all of this just to make it maybe a little bit shorter and snappier. It's very long at the moment. I could obviously add some color or make it more interactive. I could even make it more into a chatbot where I could start arguing back and defending my roast dinner if I wanted to. But now Roaster, the Streamlit app, is available publicly. You should be able to access it as well. So please do try roasting my roast dinner. Yeah, there was an amazing comment in chat, which is about the authentication issue. And that is something that I'm experiencing in my personal Google at the moment, as I have not fully set up the service accounts. When you try to do it, it does link you to a lot of documentation, which is really great. And if you just follow that through step by step, my advice is don't try to take shortcuts. Allow yourself a good hour, let's say, to set up the service accounts, to set up the application authentication protocols, and really allow yourself that time and space to set it up. Once it's set up, I promise you it's really not that bad to get it all working. But yeah, it obviously takes a little bit of tweaking. It makes sense because sorry, I'm just giggling at the comments there in chat. It makes sense that it's difficult to get the authentication set up because, as we said, it is the enterprise solution. So it does take a bit more tweaking. That being said, I'm pleased to share that at the moment, when a lot of us go into our Google console, we're likely to get invited to try Vertex AI Studio for free for 90 days. You should potentially have like a pop-up banner that says something like this, you can try it for 90 days. When you do this, it actually puts it into express mode. So this is what I'm in at the moment. I'm in Google Cloud Express mode. It means I can only access Vertex AI, which is a little bit weird. But this is an express version of Vertex that gives you access to the AI tools, allowing you to create. It also bypasses a lot of the authentication. So in Express Vertex AI at the moment, all you need is the API key. It will generate that key and give it to you. So you just need to pull it into the operating system environment, and that Google AI key will absolutely work at the moment. So you can bypass the typical Vertex AI requirements if you're really keen to get started. So do see if you have this invite to try Vertex AI Studio, that will bring you into the express mode where you can, yeah, just use an API key rather than needing the full-on Vertex authentication. And it's free, which is our favorite price as well. It's got really, really generous quotas, so you can really build some quite cool things. so that you can learn and practice and play. Amazing stuff. It looks like you're all enjoying the roaster in chat, which is so much fun. And hopefully you can see that it was actually really simple to build something like this, and it gives you the building blocks for taking something like this into production if you wanted. We did have a question about, can we do some fine tuning? Absolutely, that is exactly what this kind of section is all about of Vertex AI. So there is a tuning section, and I can create tuned models and do more fine tuning here. So if I've got a data set I want to use to fine tune it, I can absolutely do that, create a tuned model, and then effectively you access that tuned model rather than the original. So absolutely, if you want to do fine tuning, you absolutely can. I cannot stress enough just how versatile and how much you can do with Vertex AI. It really gives you just access to so many different things, so many different tools. I think in your first session, you spoke about the safety in AI framework, and that's absolutely baked into Vertex AI as well. So all of the safety, the framework, the ethical considerations are considered. There is just so much you can do. One of the things I love as well is there's a lot of building blocks for you. So no matter what you're trying to build, there's going to be a basis that you can use. You can see there are so many different ones. And with all of these, they're absolutely customizable. It kind of gives you just the basis of how they would do it. And then you can go ahead and tweak it, change it how you want, then get the code and use that to build your platform, your tool, whatever it is that you want to do with AI. You really can do it in here. So yeah, just the final thing I wanted to talk to you about was, oh, we've already done this. I forgot to share this slide with you. This is what we were going to do. We were going to build the prompt in Vertex, turn it to a Streamlit app, share it with the world, and then host it on the community. But we've already done that. So let's see. Yeah, the final thing was letting you know the next steps. So definitely do see if you have this invite to try Vertex AI Studio. That is a really great thing to do. And yeah, I think you guys already know about Google Cloud Skills Boost. If you search for Google AI, there are so many different courses that you can do. The Quick Start is absolutely fantastic with this one. As you'll know, Google Cloud Skills Boost gives you that little lab environment so you can play around without having to worry about accidentally running up a large bill or anything like that. Great question, which is, can we create a retrieval augmented generation system using Vertex AI? Yes, you absolutely can. It's a little bit more manual though. So when we think about RAG, or retrieval augmented generation, it's a two-part problem. You've got the retrieval and then you've got the generation. They're kind of separate. So you can absolutely use embeddings models in Vertex AI Studio. So an embeddings model is a model where it's going to take your data and turn it into vectors, and it's going to do that using the amazing maths it's found already from previous models it's built. So it turns all of your data into retrievable vectors. And then you have the question that someone's asking about the data, and that goes back to your vectors and picks the most useful ones, and then it puts that into the prompt, and then from the prompt, it's then going to give you an answer. So there's actually two different uses of generative AI when you're using RAG, and you can kind of do both of them, but sort of separately in Vertex AI, and you sort of bring it together. So I would say all of the building blocks for RAG are there. and you can absolutely do it, but there isn't a magic build me a RAG button, if that sort of makes sense. I did a talk at a different conference about RAG, so I can link you to that if you're interested and you want to learn a little bit more about how RAG works. But yeah, you kind of can use Vertex, but that's more the building blocks than anything else. Yeah, so that's everything I was planning to cover today. I will say the code example went a bit better than I thought. I thought it would take a wee bit longer and have more issues, but in fact, it just worked quite quickly today, especially with bypassing and using the Gemini API key. I really thought I was about to reveal my API key there. I will say that Google AI Studio, I think, is designed to be a little bit more experimental. It's a little bit less enterprise focused than the Vertex AI platform. So if you are struggling with Vertex, then AI Studio is a really great place to get started as well. I think when you learn about Gemini, that will feature with Google AI Studio. So AI Studio is a lot less feature filled than Vertex. So Vertex has everything I mentioned before. It's got the evaluation, it's got the pipelines, it is the end-to-end process for building, whereas Google AI Studio, much more Gen AI focused, and it doesn't have that kind of full framework for building. But all of the generative AI stuff, AI Studio can do as well. It's also easier to authenticate with. You saw that I just needed to generate an AI key, or sorry, API key that I then used. So it's a little bit easier to work with AI Studio sometimes if you're brand new and you don't need the full on kind of corporate enterprise Vertex AI features. They're all using and calling the same models. It's just slightly different in the way that you authenticate and work with it. Not as many features, as I said, but yeah, Google AI Studio for when you're working with the Gemini models is really great. Amazing question in chat. Can we use Hugging Face and Pinecone? Absolutely. And this is one of the key differences between AI Studio and Vertex. So Vertex is limited, sorry, not Vertex is limited. AI Studio is limited to only working with the Gemini models. And like its name kind of says, it is for the kind of Google AI product. So Gemma and Gemini, we can work with them in here. Vertex does not have that limitation. So through Model Garden, we can actually access a huge amount of the different foundation models, including the open models from Hugging Face, and so many other different providers as well. The Llama models are in here. I'm not sure about Pinecone specifically. I'm sure if we search for Pinecone, we can find out. I don't think Pinecone is in here, but there's definitely a lot of the. Oh, it's not doing it by provider. That's interesting. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of different models. So do have a look. You can definitely view all of the Hugging Face ones. They will absolutely come on through like so. So yeah, there is so much you can do, and you can use lots of different models in Vertex AI. You aren't just limited to the Gemini or Gemma ones, like so. So thank you. Are there any more questions at the moment? Let me maybe stop screen sharing.
Thanks, Lisa. If anyone has any question, and if it's longer to type it in the chat, you can just raise your hand, and I can, promote you. You can then unmute and ask any question live. But that was absolutely brilliant. I really, really like the app and everything from start to finish, and it was like it was very fun for me. I was giggling over here all the time. So that was awesome. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you so much. That was so much fun, and I'm glad I could share that with you all.
Thanks very much. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna go to the final bit for today's presentation. Well, today's. So I'm just gonna share my screen so you can probably all see right now. Awesome. Perfect. So the final bit is, well, Lisa was with the fun part. I'm coming with the boring part, which is about um, assignments and stuff and everything. So all of that. So perfect. So the assignments will be emailed. So we will email that one after this session. Well, after we're gonna stop with the session, then we're gonna wait for the recording to proceed. We will embed it onto the page, and then after that we will email so that we will let you know everyone that recording is ready. And then we will share the assignment, which will be so deadline for the assignment December 19, 8 o'clock GMT. That is going to be. So for the ones that have not had the opportunity to complete the form for the Cloud Skills Boost, before we do that, a couple of things. When you complete the form, you will be asked for the full name and the email, right? So the full name should be the full name that you have on our platform. So if you go to gdg.community.dev, then you sign in, you click on your little bit profile on the top and go to profile, you will see what's the full name or what's the display name onto the platform. Please do enter that one into the form when you will go to complete it so that we'll be able to match that with your profile over here. The reason behind that is that we cannot see, because of PII, of course, we cannot see your emails. So that's why we would need to collect your emails via the form. So when you go to the form, there's going to be a little bit of a disclaimer over there stating that your email will solely be used so we can grant you access to Cloud Skills Boost. And after that, it will be deleted from our side regarding that email. When we will grant you access, the most important thing is that we cannot grant you access or we cannot invite you if you do not have a profile on Cloud Skills Boost. So before doing the form, please do, if someone does not have it, please do go to cloudskillsboost.google, create a profile with an email that you will share with us. And then after that, when we will go and share the invitation, we will be able to invite you. With that in mind, Cloud Skills Boost, if you would like to use your phone for the form, that is the form. If you want to go ahead and complete the form on your laptop or on your computer that you're on right now, please do go ahead and complete it. So yeah, those are a couple of the steps that we're gonna do. So that way, we will be able to do that. So we will go with assignment. So you will see over here, the assignment is regarding the Gemini, just because there's a couple of more parts over there, but the Gemini one, it's intermediate level. So before that, you will notice the first two were a little bit of intermediate. The Gemini one, more focused on the Gemini and all of that, will be an intermediate. So then on Saturday, the one that we assigned will be the advanced one. We will give a deadline for the ones on Saturday for that one, and we will do a little bit of extend on that deadline. So, Mohammed, I can approve. Yeah, you have any questions for me?
I just have a question that unfortunately I wasn't able to attend the last two sessions properly, so I didn't get the assignment. So will I be able to see the recordings and do the assignment now, or is there any option I can get the certification and everything done if I join now?
So for the recordings, if you want to go through the recordings, they are embedded to our page. I can add it again. Let me just go through back with the chat. It was somewhere regarding that. So I will re-add it again over here into the chat. So all recordings are embedded on the past events, right, into our on our GG London page. So if you go for the previous two, you will see the recordings over there. Regarding an assignment, those one from before, could you please send us an email to hello@gdglondon.dev? Please do send us an email over there, and we will get back with you with the details. Regarding the deadlines for the assignment, so this is a little bit of the tricky part, right? Because one of the assignment deadline it's tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. So theoretically and preferably, you will need to complete the first one up until tomorrow, and then the second one will be up until Saturday. So it's a little bit tight, on that part. But just feel free to complete them, and then when we go through the details and the results, we'll be able to,
So I have one more question regarding what you just said.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll watch the videos and everything, and I'll try to do the assignment before tomorrow's deadline. So where will I have the link to the assignment and everything? How can I get the links to the assignment and edit to the assignments and everything?
Yeah, just send us an email at hello@gglondon.dev. The previous two sessions contained the assignments and the name of the assignments, but if you don't have them, please do send us an email. We'll be able to share with you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome, perfect. So yeah, that's the assignment for this one. We will share the path link a little bit once it's going to be done with recording and everything. For any other questions and for anything else, feel free to reach out to hello@gglearning.dev. And if you have any questions right now that you have, last bit I did mention a little bit in the beginning. I'll share with you again. So this is a mini dev camp, which is started on December 5th. So everyone attending the sessions, they had the assignments. The requirements to get the certificate at the end is that you will attend all the session and complete all the assignments within the deadlines. The reason why we are sharing the Cloud Skills Boost access to everyone, even though you have not been out from the first, is because we want for everyone to have access to this, and then everyone will be able, to experience that AI world, and learn about it. So we won't leave it on that one or that. We will not be able to share via the email after the event, all previous assignments, just because these were shared. If you are interested in what were the previous assignments and you want to complete, please do email us over there, and then we will be able to provide those ones via the email, including the deadline. However, completing them does not guarantee a certificate. So that's one thing that I wanted to outline. Second thing is that when you will be added to Cloud Skills Boost, that does not give you a share credit, but that does give you a free access to the pods that are assigned. So when you will go and complete a lab, let's say as part of the pod, although that lab will state, let's say 5 or 10 credits, but you have a 0 credit under your profile, you can still complete that lab because you have free access to it. And that's only for the pods that are assigned. Awesome. I think everything that we had for today, we managed to go through a little bit earlier. That's because the demo gods today were in our favor, so we had the demo done on time. If no one has any other questions, we will reach out via the email. Please complete the form, and please do create your Cloud Skills Boost profile before submitting the form, so that when we'll go through, we will be able to invite you. Otherwise, not having a profile, we won't be able to invite you. Awesome. Thanks, everyone, and have a great evening, and we'll see you on Saturday.